Okay, hello my friends. I am here to talk about this stamp set, which is the stamp of the month. Sorry, the stamp of the month for October. All right, and just hang on a minute because I can never remember what it's called. Wildflower Friendship. All right, so this is it. I've heard a lot about bad or negative things about this set. And the biggest one is the smile on this owl's face. So I'm going to talk to you about that because, as you can see here, I stamped this without the smile. And to me, because I agree, it does look a bit creepy. It looks a lot nicer like this. Okay, so then the other thing is wildflowers. Okay, so there are a few things that you can do to minimize the sort of in your face aspect of having these flowers all over the place. Okay, and one is you can use watercolor pencil, which I will show you. Okay, I've got one of my hedgehogs stamped because I want to show you a couple of different things you can do on the hedgehog. And then another you can do is put your image in the background, more or less. Okay, I know it's not like really in the background, but it's not the most important thing about these cards. All right, so there's a lot going on the fronts of both of these cards. I used some of the paper from the As You Grow kit paper pack, all right, for the background paper, and it's actually the same paper just flipped over. So this has the mint background and this one has the sage background. Okay, and I've also used a tag behind each one, all right, just to give even more depth to the whole front of the card. And then I finished up by using sentiments with foam backing to make them quite thick so that they stand out away from the card. All right, so, and I sandwiched the fox in between those layers. So that doesn't make it as prominent. Okay, so these tags that I used are from this new set in the core catalog called Buildable Tags. And I used this one, and then I used this one. All right, and the paper that I used for both of them was from the Noteworthy collection. Okay, so for this one, I used the yellow side, and then for this one, I used the white side. And then you can use these little toppers to go on top of the holes that are cut in your tag. Those are these little guys right here. Okay, so it's lots of fun. And then I just used my sprayer. This is a Ranger Tim Holtz thing, and I used, because it won't fit our Spectrum Noir markers, I used our metallic markers, and they're a perfect fit. So if you have any markers that are this size, they work perfectly with these. And it just gives you a nice gentle overspray. You can see there, and it's a little bit shimmery because I used the metallic markers. So just lots of different things that you can do to tone down the prominence of these images, but they still look nice, I think, anyways. And so for my coloring, these ones I used my markers, and I picked a different color theme for each one of them. So this one's mostly yellows and greens. And then this one has the greens still in it, but I've added in some pinks and reds and purples. Okay, and then this is another thing that you can do. So this is more or less the same that I did here. I gave lots of stuff going on the front of the card, and then I sandwiched the image in between two of the layers. So it's not right at the front. All right, and so this, I used my markers for No, I didn't. I used, this is all watercolor pencil. Okay, so I will show you that. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you though is how to deal with that owl and its smile. Okay, and this, okay, so don't panic when I tell you this. All right, so here's how the owl looks when you first get it. Okay, this is how my owl looks now. Do you notice the difference? All right, there's no a smile there anymore. Okay, and so now my job is not absolutely 100% perfect, and that is okay. What I want to do is show you the process that I used to do that. I know cutting stamps can be a scary thing, but that's the great thing about these acrylic stamps, is that you can do lots of things with them. They're very forgiving, very. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is put the stamp on a block. Now you're going to need a pair of very pointy scissors. You're also going to need a pair of, or not a pair, a blade that's quite pointy and not too big. Okay, and then you're going to need an ink. Any dark color will do, doesn't matter what the color is. And then you're going to need a piece of scrap paper. I'm just going to turn this one over to use it. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I look at how the image looks just the way it is. And I'm only dealing with the head here. Okay, so that's all I'm inking up. Okay, and I just want to see what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so what we want to do is just get rid of those black areas that are around the beak. Okay, so now I'm just going to give this a quick squirt to get the ink off so I don't get myself all messed up here. Okay, and make sure you are working on a self-healing mat of some sort. I'm using my Versamark for this. Right, you don't want to do this straight on the block. You want to do it on your Versamat. Okay, and I'm just wanting to see how I can see the best, either on a white or on a black. Okay, I think this one's going to be the best. All right, so now I can quite clearly see where the black areas are, there and there. Okay, not going to get in any closer. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start cutting this away. Okay, and I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to start, hopefully you can see this. I'm going to start fairly far outside of the beak. Okay, and you're going to have to press pretty hard. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around the outside of that piece that I want to get rid of. Okay, I'm still holding it down with this finger here to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, and I just need to go through that one more time. Okay, and it may seem a little weird at first, but have no worries. Okay, now where'd I put my scissors? Okay, so this is where the scissors come in. All right, so you can see how I've cut this. You can down, all right, and it's just a small bit that's still sticking. Okay, so go in from the back and you can see easily the lines of your cut. Okay, I hope you can see that here. All right, and if you just stretch it out a little bit, don't push too hard. I don't want you to cut yourself. Okay, just don't push too hard. Okay, and you just want to snip it out. Okay, not getting there. I'm not pushing on my finger at all. Okay, I'm just snipping away at the little bit of plastic that's left attached. Okay, and it's now coming out. There. All right, so that piece is gone. Now I want to see what cleanup I have to do. So I'm going to stamp this again. And again, I'm just stamping the head. I just want to get an idea of where I am at. All right, so you can see the difference already. So I need to clean up a little bit right there. So I'm going to clean my stamp again. I'm going to grab my blade. Now remember, when you have the stamp up this way so that you can cut it, you're opposite. Okay, so you've got on the left side is where you're wanting to cut away, but that's actually on the right side of the stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to do what I did before. I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit, not a lot. Okay, and I'm angling my blade in towards the stamp. And I just want to cut a little bit more of that away. You don't want to overdo it. Let's just see where I'm at there. I think this is a bit more. Almost there. Okay, so I'm going to put it back on the block just to check and see how my progress is. Okay, so I cut just a little bit too much away. You can see right there, but that's just from my block. All right, but that I am not worried about. All right, at all, because if you use your marker, it's very easy to fill that space in. Okay, so it's very, very simple. All right, so I'm going to leave you to that part. I'm going to let you finish up on your own. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to leave them for me in the comments. All right, so you're just going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. All right, so now what I'd like to do is just show you how you can use your watercolor crayons. We don't need that little bit of stamp, do we? Okay, I guess you want to see, don't you? There she is. Okay, now where's the lid for my ink? Okay. So this is another thing that you can do to make the flowers not so obvious. You can use some lighter colors. So I'm going to use this one, which is my apricot pink. And I'm going to use all of them. I'm going to use my grass green. And I think I want one other color, maybe the orange. I think I'll use mandarin. Okay. Right. So I also have my fine tipped or my small round water brush ready to go. Okay, set that to the side for a moment. All right, and I think I'm going to start with some leaves. So let's start right here, and I'm not pressing very hard. Okay, so I've gone over that once. Now I'm going to go over it just in the end here, just one more time. Then I'm going to grab my brush. It's quite dry. Okay, and I'm just going to very lightly go over that with the water just to blend. All right, so that's that one. Now let's find another leaf, and I'm just very lightly coloring. So the whole idea here is that you want to color, but not heavily. Okay, so everything I'm doing here, I'm just doing very light. I just want to get a little bit of extra on the end. Okay, and I have not squeezed any water out at all. I'm using as dry a brush as I can get. And the whole idea here is subtle. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean my brush off. So I'm going to switch colors. Okay, and I'm going to, let's see, what do I want to pick here? I think I'm going to pick this one. Okay, then I'm just going to just very lightly add a little bit of color. To the petals. Okay, and then the same thing. Now I'm going to stick to close to the body and the face, just because I want to show you the comparison between the body and the flowers. And all I'm doing is just smoothing the color out in each of the petals. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit and put it into the center. Subtle is our deal tonight. Okay, looking good. Okay, so I'm just like, I'm really not even worrying here about staying in the lines because there's a lot of petals on this flower. Okay, I'm just putting some color down, and then I can go over it and spread it around, smooth it out. Okay, so that looks terrific. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush off again. And now I'm going to bring my Apricot Peach in. And I think I'm going to do this one. So subtle a color. I almost missed it. Okay, and then just a bit of water there, not too much. Okay, and then I think I'll do this one as well. Same thing. Just laying a bit of color down, smoothing it out with my brush. That's it. Okay, so now you can see the idea here, how subtle this is. Okay, now if you want it to be a little bit more obvious, your color, I mean, what you can do is you can switch. You can actually, for this I need a little more water. Okay, I can take the color right off the end of, oops, you can't even see what I'm doing, right off the end of the pencil. Okay, and load your brush up. Okay, and then you can paint. Okay, This is quite a light color. So even though I've got my brush loaded up, it's still pretty light. I am going to switch to orange. Okay, I'm just getting the end wet. Okay, this does not work with regular pencil crayons. Okay, I'm loading up my brush, and I think I'm gonna give it even a little bit more water. I'm gonna go in the same flower. All right, so same color is the mandarin here and here. So that's quite a difference. All right, so you could even do a combination of both if you wanted to. All right, now what I want to do is work with the body, and I'm not sure exactly what color a hedgehog is. So I'm just going to grab a couple of colors, my brown, gray, and my, let's see, tan shades a little bit dark. Sorry, and my earth brown. Okay, so I've got, no, that's the wrong one. I've got the shades I want to blend. Okay, so I'm using my brown gray shades and my, see, I got the wrong one of the brown gray shade too. I want my brown gray blend. We'll get this right yet. And I want my brown, oh, yeah, red brown. That's what I wanted to say. Red brown blend. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on my body, and I'm going to start with my middle color of my brown gray. Okay, and I'm just going to go around the outside. Now, right away, I hope you can see the difference in the intensity of the color. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my light color, my lightest color. And I'm just going to fill in all the spaces that I missed. Now, so you can see, I hope, that even though this is the lightest of the brown gray tones, how much more saturated the color is compared to the watercolors. Yeah, I just want to go around this a little bit. Okay, and now I want to switch over to my red brown, and I'm going to use, I'm not quite sure what color this is. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and now I'm just going to put a little bit on her chest. And her face. And remember, I'm using the lightest color. And even though I'm using two different colors, I'm still wanting to blend where they join. So I've colored slightly over the brown gray. Now I'm going to go back in with my light gray. And again. Okay, now that's pretty simple. I didn't do a lot of detail on this one because what I really wanted to show you is that you can put this sort of in the background and make the body be the prominent part rather than the flowers, just by using a different type of paint. All right, so if you use something that's fully saturated like the markers for the body, that's going to draw the person's eye to that before the flowers. Okay, now if you really like the flowers, you want to really add some zing to them, okay, going in the complete opposite direction. Okay, now I got out these and they're totally not going to do the color. Hang on 1 minute. Okay, yeah, I think this will be better. Still, I'm stuck with a lot of these maple leaves. Okay, grab it, please. There it is. Okay, and what you can do, there's a couple of things you can do actually. So first of all, you can add some leaf sequins on top of the flowers, and now you can color the flowers first, then add the sequins, or you can leave the flower uncolored and just add the sequin right on top. In my mind, it would depend on what kind of flower it is. Okay, so I'm just going to put that sequin right on top of the flower. Okay, and then I think I'll do another one. Let's see, right on that flower. Okay. Well, of course, it wouldn't be right if we didn't hear the dog, right? Okay, so there's a couple of loose sequins. Let's hold that up so you can see a little better. Okay, so you can do that. Then another thing you can do is you can add some stickles or some liquid pearls. Okay, so I'm thinking, oh, sorry, the wrong one. Let's do this. So I'm just looking at the colors. And I'm thinking that one is going to be nice. Okay, so this is the patina. Remember, I'm just shaking the bottle down. Make sure it's in the applicator part, and I can see that it is. Okay, and I'm just going to go over a couple of these leaves. Oh yes, that's very pretty. I don't use this color very much. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just hasn't matched with colors that I've been using in my paper. That's very nice. All right, and where's another leaf? Right here. I think I want to leave this for the long skinny leaves. All right, so that's another thing you can do. And if you wanted to try a liquid pearl, let's see, I don't really have an orange-ish one, but I've got bisque. So let's try some bisque, and I think, where do I want to put this one? Let's try it right here. Whoops. Right there. Okay, now remember that your liquid pearls are a lot thicker and of course opaque, whereas your stickles are a little thinner and you can see through them. Okay, so there's a flower done with liquid pearls. I'll show you these more closely once I'm done here. Okay, now the other thing you can do is actually use a shimmer brush. Okay, so I've grabbed my lemon. Okay, let's see where we're at here with that. Okay, and I'm going to do this great big flower. So just remember, whatever type of medium you're going to use, that you're using a compatible ink. And that's one of the reasons why I use the intense black ink all the time. It's because I never know really what I'm going to be doing with my snapped images. Okay, well, that's not quite true. Sometimes I know. But not always. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you this now. Okay, so you can see right here, I've used the shimmer brush, Lemonade. Right here, I've added a couple of loose sequins. Here I've used some liquid pearls. All these leaves, I know they just look like blobs here, but they're actually leaves. Try and get it at a good angle for you. Right in here and over here. Okay, I used a stickle. Okay, I used the patina stickle. All right, so that is if you love the flowers and you really, really want to see them. Okay, if you don't, if you're not so crazy about it, then you want them to sort of disappear a little bit into the background. That's when you're going to break out your watercolors and your markers and make use of the difference in the saturation amounts. Okay, I think that's all that I wanted to show you. Please remember, if you have a question, let me know in the comments, or you can send me an email. I would love to see some finished products. Just a minute, I'm just going to push this back a bit. Okay, here's my owl again one last time. Okay, and then one of my foxes. And then here's the other one. Okay, and then now I've used some interesting color combos here, so we'll see what happens with our little hedgehog. All right, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know that you watched and leave your comments leave your questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. We'll be talking to you soon.